to the XReality Podcast. Today we are joined by Dr. Hurriyet A. A researcher, educator, and entrepreneur working at the fascinating intersection of immersive technologies and cybersecurity. As a senior research fellow at George Washington University's Cybersecurity and Privacy Research Institute, Hurriyet explores how emerging technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality can revolutionize fields like healthcare, emergency response, and public safety, while tackling the unique cybersecurity challenges these technologies bring. In today's conversation, Hurriyet will share his journey into immersive tech, how AR and VR are transforming critical fields, and why securing these systems is vital. Whether you are just starting to explore XR or you are already working in the field, this is going to be an insightful and inspiring episode. Welcome, Dr. Hurriyet.
Thank you, Dominique. Thanks for having me.
What's your journey to being where you are today?
Well, my journey into immersive technologies began in an unexpected way. I was in a corporate environment and I was leading the learning team, and our job was to create a cybersecurity awareness during the month of October. And that was at the World Bank in 2015. And we were brainstorming the creative ways to get employees excited about cybersecurity. And it is not so, interesting topic for everybody. So we wanted to make that interesting. So one of my staff said, "How about using augmented reality?" And that was the beginning of my journey. So we created an AR experience where employees could scan a printed poster or a postcard with their mobile phones, and the poster would become to life with some interactions, with some short videos, some tips on cybersecurity best practices. So it was not about delivering the information. It was about engaging people, make it memorable, and even a bit gamified. The experience sparked on me a curiosity. I said, if we can use it for this kind of topics like cybersecurity, not so exciting for people, how we can use this technology in education, in learning other topics. And so from that point on, I focused on how immersive tech can address real world challenges in real world.
Wow. So pretty much you explore the augmented reality world and focusing on the engagement, right? So how about the AR technology for public safety? Like, what's your insight for that?
Yes, and that's one of my focus in the past few years. And as we speak, Los Angeles battling with wildfires. It's heartbreaking to see lives and properties lost. And it underscores a key challenge. How do we better prepare first responders for life and death situations? That question has driven much of my work. In 2018, I worked on a NIST project. NIST is National Institute of Standards and Technology. And their public safety communication research team put a challenge to create a HUD, which is heads-up display, a navigation challenge for first responders. My team at that time developed a VR prototype to simulate an AR experience, a user interface for firefighters navigate in a chaotic situations. So the HUD or heads-up display was optimized to show you the where the team members are, what is the best route to reach to a victim, what's the best route to extract and leave the place, and dynamically adjusting the route depending on the new hazards along the way. And we also used voice activated command to keep the hands free as the firefighters, carry devices and other things in their hands. So this was helpful because this system reduced the cognitive overload and improved situational awareness. And we were fortunate to win the first prize for this project.
Wow. So what's the the design that you create? For example, like how do you create a VR prototype? Is that scenario based? Like for example, there's a scenario and a lot of firefighter jump in and trying to train them. What types of like scenarios and what types of like a game mechanics that really change the firefighters from being harmed while getting fully trained.
Right. So going back to that NIST challenge, the important thing is communication in crisis situation. The first responders needs to collaborate, and the communication becomes crucial. So the idea of using augmented reality for first responders, it has to be somehow very simple and easy to use, so they will get the information in the order that they need, and rather than clutter their visual space, or they don't have to carry a handheld device to look and at the same time, use the hose to extinguish the fire or use the axe to break in. So the user interface was developed using virtual reality because it could be tested by multiple users, multiple first responders or experts to see how effective it is, and it could be measured.
Oh, I see. So for the first responders, the VR prototype really helps those first responders to achieve the goal and get the proper training when there's fires, right? So right now, I think for the VR, there are a lot of different trainings, such as, for example, police training, first responder training, and also like later on we will talk a lot about like for example like the medical service. So do you see this area grow, or like it's focusing on more VR or AR or mixed reality? Like what do you see this sector, for example, first responder training in the trend for more like the technology sectors? What do you see those grow?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So both AR and VR in their own way helpful for training. I mean, the context is here first responder training, and it's being used. Actually, the good news is that it's proven now that whether it is this field or another industry, training is a good use case for AR and VR. Now, in particularly in firefighters, lots of dangerous activities can be simulated without being in a danger, and so that gives the advantage. The idea here, though, the type of projects I'm working is by using AR and VR, we can develop a kind of the best user interface for various types of roles can benefit. So one other NIST project that we involved in 2020 was called Chariot. Chariot stands for Challenge Augmented Reality IoT. So this challenge involved multiple teams to develop, one would develop a IoT data gathering, the other would use the AR to display the data in a meaningful way, the visualization. So if the interface is helpful, then the first responders will be very effective on either navigating or detecting the dangers or guiding the people to the safe zone. So coincidentally, again, in year 2020, we had all California and west of the US in fires. In fact, the fires were all around the world. We were fortunate to work with fire departments from California. We were fortunate to work with US Forest Service in Missoula, Montana, and getting their help on designing these user interfaces that would be intuitive, minimal visual clutters, and make the AR tools really totally life-saving solutions. We don't have them yet, right? These are all the efforts to design this user interfaces that would be meaningful for the first responders, whether they are law enforcement, whether they are emergency medical service personnel, firefighters, and so on. So all would benefit with a common understanding of how to use these immersive technologies in their day-to-day tasks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for the immersive technologies, it really helps people who operate something very dangerous, like such as firefighters or policemen, or like later on medical, like a nursing. Really helps them to tackle with the professional or like their tests. So how do you design like the AR UI for first responders? Because for those people, they probably has like a hands full, right? And how do you like according to your previous experience, what's the best way to create the experience for the first responders?
Yeah, very good question. And we learned that the interface has to be very simple, intuitive. Initially, we were displaying lots of information when we get this data from IoT systems, and the wind direction, the location of the people, and the direction of the fire, and all those things. And then when we talked to the experts, they told us that, well, tone down. We need the information when it is appropriate. So the bottom line then, the goal is to provide the right information at the right time in the right place. So this way it will not create distractions, and it will not create what we call cognitive overload, which can be very dangerous.
I see. Yeah. So, for example, like what headset do you use, and what do you think about? For example, right now we have a couple of different AR headset, and what do you wish those like headsets can really help with your project?
Yes. So in terms of those challenges where they gave you a few months to work on to develop these ideas. In the first one, in 2018, we used HTC Vive. That was the virtual reality, but simulating AR headset. And the second one in 2020, we were asked to use Magic Leap 1, which was excellent for visualization. In fact, it was also used not only for the first responders to wear and use it in the field, but it was also intended to create holographic images that would be used in the control and command room. So instead of having multiple displays, using the holographic displays in 3D in a spatial setting would be very effective. In fact, it was amazing. It is something that one has to experience it. All that information, even if they are too many in the control room, but the control rooms are naturally like that, tons of maps and the video conferencing, drone images, the communication chats and so on. So even if you show them the space is so big that they don't bother you having in different parts of the room all that information, almost like in a command and control center. The wall is full of displays. So in a way, the idea is very viable. Instead of, let's say, in the emergency going place with trucks and minivans and so on and so forth, and carrying tons of equipment for displaying the information. With the augmented reality, one can see that information on thin air easily and with very little lightweight device. However, this requires complete infrastructure and complete, communication, fast communication systems, and so on. So there's an effort to make this happen in the near future.
Yeah, so I think for AR, it really helps sorting the information and keep the information simple, and also help coordinate the teams, right? So
Exactly.
right now, if you see, I would say like a AI, right? In CES, they have a lot of AI robots. Do you see like a first responders, a lot of AI robots, like kind of like join the first responders, and also probably drones. And the real human was more like controlling those drones to save, or like some robots. What do you see this trend of AI came out of the 2D screen and become a figure and doing the actual physical works?
So in our scenarios, drones were definitely used for gathering information, aerial view, to decide where to pour the fire retardants and so on. And so they are certainly a safe way to get closer to the action place. They can be used in the case of active shooting. They can be used in many other disaster scenarios to gather information or even deliver some physical material to the location. But in terms of did you say artificial intelligence, AI, with drones, or did you say AR,
Um,
augmented reality?
I would say AR is probably more like the interface to show to human.
Right.
For AI, you can skip the interface, right? Because if it's AI directly implement to that types of like a machine, and then machine will pull off the fire. Maybe human can sit back in the headquarter somewhere in different city. Yeah, very safe, and control those drones or control those robots. Yeah, so it also brings another question. I mean, I love AR, VR. Those are my passion for very long time. Um, right now, I remember I watched a YouTube channel. I think it's Microsoft CEO mentioned that SaaS is dead, which means that there will be a lot of AI agent and a lot of interface that directly, for example, before it was human use interface and ask machine to do things. Right now, it's more like developer create a data set, and it doesn't really involves any UI. For example, Excel sheet, it's the interface that for human to use it. But right now, through AI agent, the people can control the database data set for the AI agent. It will be AI directly work with the database, so you can skip the entire sheet, that format, that box. So what do you see like in the future? Those types of, like right now we have first responder wear AR glass and jumping in and pull off the fire. In the future, there might be a chance that robots will do it and human will remotely control from somewhere. So the AR glass, I mean, I love a lot of AR, VR show up. It is, for me, is more like a what do you envision that types of like a future robots and jumping and become the first responders. There might be possibility. What do you see AR play the role inside this?
Right, right. So on in terms of robots, definitely they are helping even today to get into the difficult areas where humans cannot easily access, or dangerous to be close to an area in case of an earthquake, the buildings, collapse, or in case of a um, uh, maybe a bomb threat, and then they have to come closer and understand the situation. So for all those things, these technologies are being used. Of course, if we have also additional 3D video opportunity with these devices, whether it is drone or a robot, then we can have a better understanding of the environment, and then that 3D images or video can be better assessed by the humans looking at them in distance. There are certainly many academic and industrial research going on in this area. I see them very promising. I haven't had a chance to work myself in any of those projects yet.
Wow. So in this case, that maybe AR UI or like a AR device for those first responders are current solutions. And in the future, maybe there will be more research involved and grow that sectors. But right now,
Right.
it seems like all the robots is still in the, would say, research or like a beta testing. So right now, maybe more like augmented reality will be the best solutions for the first responders to more like share the information and also coordinate.
Exactly. So if I may add another thoughts that we entertained ourselves when we were designing things. So if the first responder themselves, or the robot or the drone, has this LiDAR type of depth sensing capability with a very high quality imaging, they can even arrive to the incident scene if the victim is, in a car accident or something, and then with those images, the medical staff even know the severity of the harm on the human body, and then be prepared even for that type of situation. I mean, they can literally see the cut or the damage in the tissue in a 3D. That's yet another important life-saving information before they even arrive to the scene. So all those technologies, all those sensors, all those advancements will hopefully help the first responders to be more effective saving lives and properties.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as for the AR for emergency medical service, EMS, what do you see that how can AR enhance the efficiency and the accuracy of EMS teams in the more like a critical situation?
Right. So we talked about, first of all, the power of learning through immersive technology. So that would be the first thing comes to my mind, meaningful to create training scenarios for emergency medical services personnel, or first responders. So in one of our projects that involved, we experienced creating a medical training for multi-user AR environment, and that can be delivered remotely in a remote location, and where the resources are limited, to increase the or accelerate the EMS training. So this would be one example. It was the combat medics. In that scenario, we thought the teaching the field personnel who are not so experienced with the help of a AR to bring them up to speed with this, first aid or first response learning. I also think that the AR could be or will be very useful in telehealth, and telehealth being people, being interviewed or talk over video currently, but eventually this would be also very effective in assisting the patients by doctors if both sides have the AR capabilities.
Do you have any examples of how AR can enhance the telemedicine? For example, what in what scenarios that doctor can really utilize that AR enhancement to help patient?
Right. So it could be maybe as simple as guiding the patient in their own environment, how to use a medical device, how to properly adjust it. In 3D, they can show and help and guide them, or even applying a particular medication or some sort of a taking care of their healing wounds and things like that. Those things, we can do it through video by telling, but I think if we can help them in 3D remotely, that would be more effective.
Yeah, I think for those like a medical service, it's very important to have some guidance or some for example, some 5G enable AR medical kind of like a device that would be really helpful. And do you have any for example, scenarios or successful study case for the AR for emergency medical service? What types of ways that in your project is considered to be successful?
Well, thank you again. You just mentioned that the 5G, because I was just listening that comment. For all those things to happen, we need a very fast network connectivity, and that's why 5G or even maybe 6G would be the base for these technologies to be adopted or more effectively used, because transferring this 3D data will take much higher bandwidth, much higher network speeds. So most of the things that we are talking so far are either in the labs or a prototype, and we don't have exact examples yet. However, except that using mobile devices, which can be used as an AR device, they can be used for again learning medical information. I'm talking about from the patient's perspective or the consumer's perspective, or from medical students' perspective. They can create the body anatomy on their own environment. They don't need a physical device or physical mannequin to work on. Those things are currently used seriously in medical training, for instance. Having a skeleton in front of you and get close with your mobile device, whether it's a tablet or phone, and inspect, dissect, and look around and look from different angles in life size. I believe this is a perfect example of how this AR technology be useful in medical training or training the medical staff.
Yeah. So how about what do you see the security and privacy of the AR system? What's your insights?
Because these technologies are gathering enormous information from the environment. Yeah. So I just talked about using a LiDAR or some sort of a depth sensing information. That information is only should be evaluated by the right staff, like the the medical staff or the first responders. It should not be shared by other people along the way. And so how do we keep that information private or confidential only for those who need to know? So privacy and security in the medical field known how important it is. We have policies in that policies. When we look at the current technology securing this transmission of these images to protect the confidentiality, we know that there are still weaknesses, and there could be what they call man-in-the-middle attack, meaning somebody in the middle can be able to peek into this information. So we need actually new technologies, new security solutions to keep the privacy and security of the augmented reality data. Not only the case that I'm giving you where the environment may have information that not everybody should know or see, but also the people who are wearing these devices can transmit lots of personal information about themselves. And so that information also needs to be kept private. And to do that, we have to rely on the manufacturers or the owners of these AR systems to be transparent. They have to tell what they are recording, what they are keeping, and then who they are sharing that information with. Luckily, there are organizations like XRSI, the XR Safety Intelligence. They really put a lot of efforts to raise awareness about security and privacy in immersive technologies. Another great source in this is the XR Association. They bring together industry leaders to develop the best practices and resources for businesses, consumers, and policymakers interested in virtual and augmented reality. And there are many other great organizations. They are all helping this conversation around privacy and safety and responsible development in XR.
Yeah. So what do you see, like, for example, like in XR, what's the trend and what types of things that we need to care? For example, like you mentioned, safety, right? Security, data. And also, what do you see that, the trend, like, for example, like in training area, we mentioned a lot of training for first responder and medical people, and what types of other kind of trends you see, like in the past years?
Applying augmented reality, virtual reality, or if you can just bundle them as XR. First of all, it is a great medium for entertainment and gaming. So everybody knows from that angle. But also this being entertained or the gamified nature of this environment, it can help learning to the learning or training can be gamified. So what I see tangible examples are from all the way to various medical research to applying some of these technologies in mental health, healing, some traumas, just to name a few, all the way to the orthopedic surgery. We have cases that they are successfully used in the operating room, operations room. Other than that, we are also seeing more and more the AR, like in the glass form factor, being used to capture videos or getting certain information specific to, let's say, a particular application. It could be meditation. It could be, I would say that I see more and more AR glasses specific to a certain need rather than a general purpose AR glass, because the more you want to do, the more you need hardware. The more hardware you need on these devices and sensors, it's heavier and less usable, and then requires more power, and more power means more battery, and battery means weight, and then it goes on and on. So right now, those lightweight augmented reality glasses are very limited, used for very limited tasks. And then on the extreme side, like the Apple Vision Pro or other similar products, they are very heavy, but on the other hand, they give you a much more versatile experience, as they call it, the spatial computing device rather than just the augmented reality device. These are the few things came to my mind right now, Dominic.
Yeah. I think the XR training is more like from huge like a device and start become lightweight, right? And the display start become better, and also since all the other technologies start forming like on its own and later on will merge together, I would think that just like you said, that it will be cross different sectors and have a lot of different usage. And at this year, CES has a lot of display about smart glass and also XR glass become mature and mature. I think the future, a lot of people said that the smart glass will replace phone. So far, not happened yet, but maybe someday it will happen. And when it happens, it will just flip, right? No, all the phones will be outdated and it will be more AR glass. I don't know. For me, I still don't like to wear glass because it's additional things that to your face, and if it is not really comfortable, then I rather use my phone because it can stay away from my eyes. So it has to be really, really good. Otherwise, nobody will wear it. So I think it has a higher standard. Yeah, and how about AI and XR?
May I
No.
excuse yourself? Suddenly, I think I needed a little bit of a water.
Yeah. Please,
so
please.
if you don't mind,
Please.
cutting this part out.
No worries.
Unexpected cough. I am now all ears.
Yeah. So, what do you see AI and XR in education?
I am teaching an augmented and virtual reality class at George Washington University, and my personal take is that in education in general, AI could be very helpful for the students to quickly, organize their thoughts or organize their projects. But up to a certain point, they have to use their own creativity. So in my class, since they are learning totally new system, usually they don't have that experience before creating 3D experiences in augmented reality or virtual reality. I let them use it as a troubleshooting tool, or create some code to create some interaction. So it will help them to be more innovative and less worry about the time to learn something brand new, and finish the project in time. Um, that is my take, when it comes to using AI in the XR education. Use it as much as possible when you don't have some expert around you to guide you or help you, and then use it as a way to personally get some tutoring.
Yeah.
Um, any thoughts from your end on this, if you have any?
Yeah, I find out that AI is really, really helpful to help guiding students to code because I also teach, I taught a class called Coding for Designer and Artist. We use Unity and I think the majority of students, they haven't used Unity before the class, but after 17 days by the assisting of ChatGPT, they can create a pretty decent game. So, and also they use Meshy, which is another 3D like AI tools to help them. So, for example, one of my students just drew a sketch and then put in a Meshy AI, and then it turns somehow very kind of like I would say 80% right for that sketch. And later on, he used his 3D tools to revise it. So is saving a lot of time to build from ground up. So I think right now AI probably can help like 80% of the labor, and 20% still need like a human to adjust. But I think sooner AI will slowly get into more and more humans like a job, and the human will be more like a problem solving and more like the higher level of the more like idea part. Yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah, what do you see more like for example like the for the education, AI is great and we know that AI is eliminating, I don't want to say eliminating but slowly taking over more entry level. And I think this year, Mark Zuckerberg also predicted that a lot of mid-level engineer might, like AI might be able to do those work. What do you see that, for example, you are also a professor. What do you recommend or any advice for your current student? What can they do? Because they might also face the challenge of need to start applying jobs, right? What do you apply? What do you advise them to kind of overcome or survive in this AI era?
Great question. So, I personally don't feel it's a threat right now at this, not in the next few years. Um, it's all about learning, being curious and learning new things. And and currently AI is helping uh, to solve certain tasks in a faster way, helping to solve and overcome. But still, you need to use your own skills. So no matter what, uh, currently as humans, as engineers, or as artists or creators, we can use it as a tool that makes the things easier for us or faster. But I don't see it an immediate danger for the careers. There's a major shortage of skilled STEM workers, the science, technology, engineering, math workers. So I don't see AI is replacing them in the near future. Of course, the same thing for some other topics and professions. I don't want to ignore the fact that certain roles or tasks will be automatized and has been happening all the time, whether it is done through AI or some other machines. This has been the way we are handling the productivity and reducing the cost. There have to be reason for us to use AI and the uh, automatization. Uh, I've my advice is just learn and advance and keep yourself up to date, and that would be the safe bet for the future.
Mhm. Yeah, so just echoing what you said, that I think curiosity is very important. Just when there is something new, just don't think, oh, I am whatever role you are currently right now. Like, oh, I that's other people's job, right? I think just embrace the change and learn, adapt fast. I think I remember there was a philosopher said that there's no exactly wrong or right in this world. It's more perspective. So that's just always switch our mind and see how can we adapt this world better, right? I feel like right now I'm adapting as well. So I'm just like, yeah. And before, I have a certain way of thinking, but now I'm like a switching, right? So in the future, before I have a very accurate goal, I have to achieve something. But now I feel like, wow, you see like all the AI agent jumping. Yeah, ChatGPT, I forgot the newest one. What's the name of it? But
The
according,
4.0.
yeah, yeah, something like that. But the newest version, it seems like um, Sam Altman said that it can beat up the only 170 around 170 developers, the top tier developers beat up that model, which means that the model is so good it beat up the 99% of the developer in this world. So yeah, so I'm still thinking about, wow, you see like it take so long to make somebody to be that good, right? And now
Yeah,
it becomes like everyone can own it, right?
right.
So yeah, so also makes me wonder those tools are really handy for senior level, right? Because you know how to give commands for them. But for junior level, I feel like, can you just know nothing and start using those tools? I mean, you probably can, right? But what educator can teach? If there's a powerful tools that knows like history, English, whatever subject is all experts, what
Right.
can educators do? Yeah, it's also some of my questions. For example, I knew like some Spanish teacher, professor, and yeah, they are teaching grammar, right? They are teaching some writing, basic vocabulary. But if later on those basic stuff, student can practice through some software or AI agent or something, right? Tutor, AI tutor. Then how can educators improve ourselves to teach something else? Yeah. So
Well, again, I'm a little bit optimistic. If I may
yeah,
divert
yeah, yeah,
the conversation
yeah,
back
yeah,
to using AI for training, it doesn't have to be always the large language models, right? There are other types of AI. For instance, in the training scenario, let's say augmented reality training scenario, and if we are using AI to create live responding patient, right? So how nice that is for the learner. So it is almost like real, and then responding to the interaction. This would be very important in vocational training. The XR simulations powered by AI provide real-time feedback, letting students practice like the emergency response in lifelike scenarios. Uh, I consider this as a positive thing going forward. Imagine that's happening
yeah.
and dynamically. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm really happy when I teach like Unity, right? It took without AI, it takes very long time for a developer to make a decent game. But now students within 17 weeks they can create a full scale of games. Yeah, so I think AI tools are really, really powerful, and it will be more and more powerful. Maybe I saw some startups that came up with some ideas which you can do text prompt and a video game just being generated. So yeah, so I believe that a lot of things that we used to do might be slowly taken up by some AI, which is exciting. But it's like, oh, it will be another revolution. People used to do this need to think what's next. Yeah. So yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So finally, what's the big takeaway you'd like to share with us?
Um, so immersive technologies, the AR, VR, are no longer just futuristic ideas. They are here now and helping us to solve real world problems in education, healthcare, business, and many more things, while still being powerful platforms for entertainment and gaming. But to truly unlock their full potentials, we need to focus on accessibility so more people can, put their hands on the security I talked about, and the user-centered design. So the people will feel it natural, intuitive, if possible. Um, One thing I would like to encourage everyone in the XR field to do is the share the experience, inform and inspire the people around you to try out AR and VR. What I noticed lately is that many people are still reluctant to put a headset on their face.
Yeah.
It's unfamiliar or intimidating for some. But once they experience what's possible, that hesitation often fades and they start to see how transformative these technologies can be. I also was going to say that whether it is learning or training or even saving lives, AR and VR are tools that make a real difference. It is up to us to bridge the gap, increase awareness, and help others to understand the incredible potential of immersive technologies. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a wonderful talk. We share a lot of your insights for like a security and also first responder. And XR definitely, according to you, you are very positive about the AI and XR in every field. And for me, I am more a little bit wow, this is such a very powerful tool. Imagine it becomes more and more powerful. Then for educator, we really need to start evolving and learning. I remember I saw one article. It was from Stanford professor. He mentioned that in the future, all the teachers in the classroom will be DJ, like creating hyper atmosphere, less of giving the lecture. Yeah. And also I listened to one podcast that one of the innovative school, they give student, like they put lecture as a homework, let students to learn on their own, and they put assignment homework remain to the classroom. So students learn on their free time and listening to lecture. And when there's an assignment, everybody get into the classroom and do the assignment. I think a lot of interesting ways to rethink about education. Maybe it's more on one-on-one human, more like what you said before, like EQ, right? The IQ part you can learn on your own, but for teacher is teaching you more like a human side of the knowledge. So yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. That's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. We release episodes weekly. If you enjoy this conversation, check our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Support us by giving us a follow and a 5-star rating, or subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Thank you and see you next time.